What if I told you that the future of work, or even the world's future, depends on green skills? What's your first reaction on that? Maybe check your resume, panic, greenwash your professional bio, and hope for the best? Don't worry, I got you today. I built sustainability programs from scratch in Brazil. I've led social impact initiatives, and I've joined different networks tackling today's greatest challenges. Along the way, I learned something essential. Learning green skills isn't just important, it's a superpower for the future. Okay, but what the heck are green skills? Think about green skills as a set of abilities, knowledge, attitudes, and values that will help us to go from where we are now to a more desirable and sustainable future. Not only to get there, but actually to support and maintain this future. And these skills are not just for scientists or engineers, they are for everyone. And they will define the careers of tomorrow. That's what I'm here to talk about. Your careers, your futures, and the skills that we need. Not just to survive, but to thrive. When I started my career, I didn't plan to become a sustainability enthusiast, or depending on who you ask, Captain Planet. Actually, I wanted to be a soccer player, a football player, but here it's soccer. But reality, or my very average soccer skills, had other plans for my journey, so I moved on. I studied engineering, explored entrepreneurship. Eventually, I found myself deep into social impact projects. More specifically, social entrepreneurship, which flipped and expanded my vision on the world. Let's pause for a sec. What a mess, right? But that's more common than we may expect. Many careers like mine, they are not linear. They zigzag, they evolve, they surprise you. But luckily for me, early on in my career, I learned that true impact isn't just a buzzword. True impact is about constantly challenging the status quo, breaking down a lot of barriers, and building bridges to something better. For me, this journey isn't about just finding a career. It's about becoming a better person while making a difference along the way. And our journeys, look around, our journeys, they do not happen in isolation. They quickly unfold in an interrelated, fast-changing world where sustainability is no longer optional. Millions of jobs are being created because of the green economy. Think about this logic. We have new industries being created. Because of that, we need jobs for these industries to exist and to thrive. We need talents for the jobs to be built. And we need a set of skills for these talents to exist. But we have a big problem in this logic. Unfortunately, we don't have enough skilled people to fill these jobs. That's what we call the green talent gap. Okay, green talent. There's a lot of green in this presentation. What is a green talent? I just mentioned about the green skills. Now you imagine one person here with this set of skills. Now you have a green talent. But the problem is that we don't have enough of them. And the demand for green talent is growing 2 times faster than the supply. We're just not keeping up. If we continue in this path and we don't close this gap, by 2050, entire industries will stagnate. Okay, but that's not just good. If we close this gap, it's not just good for the planet. It's also good for your career. Because job seekers with green skills or green titles are getting hired faster than the overall workforce. On average, 55% faster. That's a global number. If you look only in the US, this number jumps to 80%. When we talk about green talents or green skills, probably many people who are watching, they think about somebody installing a solar panel, somebody working with green energy, planting trees, or even hugging the trees. I mean, that's cute, but it's only a tiny fraction of the overall picture. Green skills are not just for this type of roles. Of course, if you want to work with that, I wish you a lot of success. But let's imagine we could have a scale that would measure the greenness of a job, from no green to all on green. On one hand, we have traditional jobs that have been enhanced by this new green economy, the sustainability wave. For example, accountants now report on environmental, social, and governance factors. Electricians can now create and maintain solar energy systems. And mechanics, they can now repair electric and hybrid cars. But that's only one part of the story. On the other hand, we have brand new roles that were created just because of the new green industries that have been emerged. We have circular economy designers. We have battery recycling researchers, even renewable energy technicians. Who would imagine that those roles would exist? Some of them did not even exist a few years ago. But this talk here isn't about to make all of you to become sustainability managers or environmentalists. Again, if you want to go for it, I wish you the best, a lot of success in this journey. This talk is about rethinking our journeys. It's about upskilling, adapting, making a difference no matter which field you're in. To be able to do that, we need green skills. Welcome to the green talent journey. Either you realize it or not, you're already in. We can only go through this journey together. That's not a one-hero journey. As society, we need look around how many potential green talents we have here. But I want to share a secret about this journey. It does not stop. Sometimes I stress out about that quite often, to be honest. But as society, we keep evolving. We increase our collective intelligence over time. Once we know better, we do better. I see some pessimistic expressions here about that, but let's remember about some stuff together. Smoking on airplanes or restaurants was perfectly fine. Factory explosions or accidents is just a routine, part of doing business. Dumping waste into rivers, well, just a normal Tuesday. Today, these things seem absurd because, as I said, as society, we are evolving. But sometimes progress feels like running a race. When you're getting so close to the finish line, it goes further. Yeah, I get it. Sometimes that's frustrating. It brings the feeling that we are never going to catch up. But there's one thing most people miss about this race. In this race, we are not just spectators. We are runners, shapers, builders. We are the ones also helping to move progress forward. And for that, we need to develop green skills. Again, it's not a story of one hero. There are so many potential green talents here to develop their own set of green skills. As society, we need to walk this path together. Some skills, they will take many years to develop. For example, rethinking about some renewable energy systems in a city, or thinking and planning a whole supply chain to be more sustainable. Other skills, they can be applied almost instantly, like learning about composting, recycling, home energy efficiency techniques, or even fixing an electric bike. Other skills, what we can call transformative skills, they may take your whole life. The ability to see patterns, or imagine yourself leading a systemic change. In the end of the day, those skills, they are like a building block. They go layer by layer, moment by moment. And you don't need to know everything. You don't even need to know all the technical knowledge, because this is not only about that. Of course, the more skills you have, that's probably going to be pretty good for you. But this talk is not about that. Because every time you have a new skill, you're going to add to your own journey. Okay, let's say you're convinced. You're in, you're ready. How do you actually start? Think about your own journey. No matter where you came from, no matter what you did, you have some skills, you have some connections, whatever you bring to the table today. And most of the times I would say that we don't really know the next steps. I'm gonna use myself as an example. My first social entrepreneur project was a vegetable garden. It had a pretty noble mission, at least in my opinion, to teach kids about the environment, to improve their nutrition, and to create some civic engagement. I had no idea if it was going to work or not. To be honest, I could not even see the long-term impact of this project back then, not even on myself. But there's a funny part in that story. My mom actually saw it. She was the one who kept reminding me that, son, if it were not for those vegetable gardens, so many things wouldn't have happened in your journey. And now here I am at TEDxBabson. Thanks, Mom. I don't know where my story goes from here. I don't know where your story goes from here as well. But what I know is that we need different tools, different toolbox. And every time you learn a new tool, you go through an experience, you get more connections, you add one tool to your own toolbox. If all you have is a hammer, in a world that changes so fast, everything in front of you is gonna look like a nail. And as the world becomes more complex, you better have more than one hammer. At least know some people who have their own toolbox full of tools. That helps as well. Because when we bring together different tools in our own toolbox, sometimes that can create a very powerful and unimaginable combinations. And maybe that's your secret sauce. Because in the end, this is about how we grow, how we build, and how we serve. Getting as close as possible to be the person we want to become, to close this gap. If I could give you a formula today for like, okay, what's a green talent? How can I be a green talent? On one end, we have the green skills, all the set of skills that I mentioned, values, principles, attitudes, knowledge. Then we have a value system to guide you through your decisions with a refined perspective that is gonna help you in a world that is so noisy to have a clear vision and to be relevant in people's life. That's a real green talent making a change and creating a positive impact. Of course, don't forget to add the flavor of interrelation and action. Because green skills are the difference between where we are and where we need to be. Green talent isn't just a job title. It's a way of thinking, problem solving, and acting. So the last question to be asked today from me is, will you be a green talent? Yeah. Thank you.